your time with the Who feels underrated to me. And I think you came in with an absolute, almost impossible situation for anybody.
Yeah, at the time, it was an impossible situation. Yeah. But see, the guys were, funny enough, Pete and I had worked together on demos and stuff, a bit like Ronnie, you know. And I did lots of sessions with Pete, and I did a lot of sessions with Entwistle. Because people used to book us, and I never knew who was going to be on the session. And so John would turn up, and I'd go, "Hello, John, how are you doing?" And that was that. So I knew everybody quite well, you know. And we toured Australia and Japan. Also, not Japan, we toured Australia years ago. We got thrown out of Australia. We caused so much havoc. Keith Moon was a great friend of mine, and he was always playing jokes on me, but he would never take the mickey out of me, never take the piss out of me. He was a great guy, and because he respected me as a drummer, and I respected him. And so we had that crucial drumming respect, you know, nothing like it.
When you were approached by them, was it John who approached you, John Entwistle, who asked you to be in the Who?
I'll tell you how it was, because Keith Moon and I shared the same drum tech.
Okay.
Drum roadie in those days, but drum tech.
Yeah.
To be polite.
It's fine.
Technician. So, and you know, I always say I have great respect for my drum techs, drum roadies and whatever, because I always say I'm only as good as my drum roadie, my drum technician. I say, because if it sets my kit up and I'm happy, I can play it with my eyes shut and God knows what. It's very difficult to do those sort of things. And so it's got to be spot on. So I have great respect for the drum technicians.
I guess I wondered, you know, the other thing I was thinking about was, I mean, this is your friend, also Keith Moon. You were friends with all of the Who in the band.
Yeah.
This was only 2 months after Keith died that you joined the band. And
yes.
And to know, you know, a very different style of playing. Did you ever have any reservations about, geez, I'm not sure
Yeah, of course I did. I had massive reservations about it because I didn't particularly want to be in that position. You know, what happened was I'd only just, Keith had his funeral up in Highgate, not very far from where I lived. And I didn't want to go be part of the charade. So I took a little poem and a little wreath up to, before anyone got there, put it there and said my little piece, said my goodbye to Keith, and I left before anyone got there. And so that was that, and I put it out of my mind. We shared the same drum technician, a guy called Bill Harrison. So Bill kept saying to me, "Oh, you're going to get the call one day." I said, what are you talking about, the call? He said, "No," he said, "I'm not saying a word." So I said, "Okay." I could sort of sense what was going to happen a little bit, but I could never prove it or whatever. So I just put it out of my mind. And then I got the call from telephone call from Bill Kirbishley, the Who's manager. Yeah. So, and he said, "Kenney," he said, "I'll come straight to the point." He said, The Who have had a meeting and they decided to get together and they decided they would like you to join the band, and they're not thinking about anyone else at all. They want you in the band, and they're not considering anyone else.
Right.
Right. My reaction was, "Oh," I said, "Well, thanks, Bill." I said, "But it's very flattering. It's very nice." I said, "But I can't." And he said, I could hear the sort of gasp at the end of the phone, like the silence. He said, "What?" I said, "I can't." "Well, why?" I said, "Because I've just been forming this band with a transatlantic band with Glenn Johns, and that's it." I said, "That's what we're excited about." And he said, "Well, look, Pete's coming into the office this evening, early evening. Why don't you come and have a chat with Pete?" I said, always happy to have a chat with Pete. It was good to see Pete. So I said, "Oh, I come into the office," which is not far from me. So I went into the office and we sat there for about 2 hours, just having a great laugh, glass of wine, and just talking about Australia, things we got up to, all kinds of stuff, a bit like we are.
Yeah.
And just having a great laugh. Yeah. Then Pete just sort of went, "You've got to join the band. You're a mod. You're one of us." So it kept, and I felt so bad about it. I said, "All right, but I'm not copying Keith. I can't copy Keith." I said, "I'm not only that. I can only do it. I can only ask my band if it's the right thing to do. If they say no, I'm not going to do it." And he said, yeah, no problem. So that evening I said, I'll go back and have a word with you. I was meeting the band anyway that same evening. So I went back and met the band, and they were all over in England. So all of us together rehearsing. And I said, look, the Who have asked me to join them. I said, I'm not going to let everyone down here, though. And they said, they were so gracious. They said, Kenney, you've got to do that. You've got to do it. So I knew I was in a great company anyway. So that's how that made my mind up for me. Right. So I was relieved about that. And then I was phoning at the deep end. I knew Keith Moon's kit. I knew it was big anyway, because I used to do in Australia and everywhere we played around Europe. Keith would never turn up for a sound check. So as always Pete go, Kenney, you want to bang some drums for us? After I said, yeah, no. So I said, well, you need all these bloody drums for anyway. You don't need all these. So I was already used to it. I was already used to working with John, and I used to work with Pete a lot. Roger, not a lot, because he was a singer in his own right, so he never did sessions like that, like we did. So I'm not saying he didn't. I don't know what he did.
Right. Can we talk about John Entwistle and, you know, one of the best bass players of all time?
Well, he was, for me, he was like the fastest bass player in the world. But even though he played bass, for me, in the Who, it was like sitting between two lead guitarists, right? One at the high end, one at the low end. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. The only one that was playing bass was my bass drum.
You were the rhythm section. That was it. Just you, right?
To be honest, yeah, I had a simple approach to it. But then again, I learned. I've got a very fast foot, so I could do triplets on the bass drum. And because John was doing that with his fingers, so I got to do some triplets with him. Because I knew when they were going to be. So I go with him, and John would look and I go, oh. So that was kind of my foot got faster and faster.
Right. So you had fast. You were doing triplets, doubles on your foot.
Yeah. Even though I had two bass drums set up in the Who, right, one was only to hold the tom toms on, and my hi-hat over there. Yeah. That's it. The other one was just a one pedal. Yeah.
What were some of your memorable songs to play either live or in the studio with the Who?
Well, I think I always used to love playing. I used to love the ones I wore the cans with. I used to love that with Barbara O'Reilly, Who Are You, and Won't Get Fooled Again. I love the song Won't Get Fooled Again. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, that's becoming my epitaph, because I won't get fooled again. So.
I love it. Yeah, we were wondering, we were talking about when you were playing live, did you have the cans in? Were you listening to that backing track with Won't Get Fooled Again and Baba O'Reilly?
There were terrifying moments, because Bob Pridden, who's our tour, looked after all the monitors on tour. Bob, we go back so far. It's so funny. He's like one of the band. He had a quarter-inch tape reel. So it was tape. So, and anything could happen that with Bob. It could stretch, it could slow down. So, I mean, a couple of times it would go, and you never knew if Bob would set the volume in the cans.
So this
too loud.
For folks who aren't realizing, this is all reel-to-reel tape, like analog, actual tape.
Nothing digital there.
Nothing digital. It's amazing. Anything could have happened.
Exactly, and so anything did happen a few times, you know. So I go up and down with the tempo. Because the band couldn't hear what was in my cans, so they had to play along to me. They can only hear it from what's coming out of the PA. To keep it clean on stage.
That's unbelievable.
So if I went out of time, they would go out of time.
Was there a click? For you in the cans?
Yes, it was, because when I put my own click on, because don't forget we were a very loud band.
Yes.
And even with these massive headphones on, they didn't have in-ears. Yeah. They were cans. Right. And because you're moving about all the time, now I know why Mooney used to put gaffer tape around his cans.
Right.
I didn't resort to that. I've tied mine up.
Right. You were a little more stylish, it sounds like. Right?
I like to think so, yes. So anyway, I put the cans on, and what I do is I thought, what's the most annoying click, I can put it there, so I can always stay in time. And I overdub as my click, a cowbell, boom, boom, and it's like boom. So whatever happened, it was going boom, but I could hear it all the time.
Well, we needed more cowbell, right, Kenney? That was the thing.
I don't need a cowbell anymore because I know the song backwards and stuff.
That's right. Was it, and you talk about whatever you want to talk about or not want to talk about, of course, but in the time with the Who, obviously the tragedy at Cincinnati happened.
Oh, yeah. That breaks my heart, that one.
Yeah, I guess I wondered from your perspective, your thoughts and feelings about all of this at this point.
Well, what happened was the promoter was given insurance. Bill Kirby, the manager, fixed up extra insurance on that particular gig to make sure that everything was going to go right. I don't think the promoter did his job properly. Not saying any more about it, but one of the doors, a few more doors are supposed to be left open. There's only one door open at the front there, and a coach came in late because we already started playing. So they wanted to they heard the music rush down the stairs and like that to get to the auditorium, and one fell over, the other one fell over, and that's how it happened.
Yeah.
But the families were, because afterwards, the press was saying, "Do you feel guilty? You caused this accident?" I said, "Well, no, we've not caused it." Right. So we were questioned. We had to go back to Cincinnati months later and be questioned by everybody.
You got questioned.
Yeah. And so the families sent us some lovely letters. They just lost their loved ones. And they said, we don't blame you at all. They were going to see a band that they loved. And so very gracious, every one of them.
Yeah, and there's this heartwarming video online on YouTube with Roger going back and visiting with some of the families as well. But, it must have been awful for you guys. It was awful for them and the families. But for you, you're right.
Well, when we were told, usually we do an encore and stuff like that. Bill Kirby, when we came off stage, when we finished, waiting in the wings to do our usual thing, waiting in the wings to come back and do an encore. But Bill Kirby said, come straight to the dressing room. Went straight to the dressing room. That's when he said, "See, I've got some bad news." He said, "We had a few people died today." I think it was 11 people died. I can't remember now, but I think it was 11.
Yeah, it was 11.
And we said, "How did it happen?" He said, "Well, we didn't know." He said, "Well, they rushed to the stage and fell down." And Sunday again, that shock of the room filling up with water, God knows what. And he just talking away, and so all of us were gutted. We were speechless. We didn't know what to say. So we rushed back to the hotel. We were told to lock ourselves in the room. Don't let anyone in. And somehow the press got hold of a pass key from the maid or something. Next minute, the door burst open in my room. And lights and flashing and God knows what, cameras.
Wow. Awful.
Anyway, it's one of those days. It will never leave me. That thought of that will never leave me. And I always feel so much for the families, and so for losing such a great member of their family.
Right. No question. Yeah. I mean, a tragedy for everybody. Yeah. And I think it did change the way concerts were. Because you guys had no idea even before and during your show that this had happened, right?
Funny enough, I knew something was up because usually you get people on the side of the stage in the wings watching, and it was bare. So
very unusual.
Very unusual, a bit spooky.
Yeah. Man.
Anyway.
Sad stuff. Stuff.
That happened in the very early days of me being in the band, so that didn't help.
That was 1979, right? Was it surprising to you? Because I've read other parts in books or articles of Roger really advocating for you at the beginning of if any journalist...
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Yeah, if any journalist says he doesn't sound like Keith, he'll break his legs. But was that surprising to you?
I think, to be honest, it was in the very early days. Don't forget, Keith had only been dead a matter of months.
Right.
And all of a sudden I'm in there. So he looked, when I was excited, I learned all the songs and stuff like that. And it started out great, we were all playing. There's no problem, no problem whatsoever. The only hardest thing was remembering all those bloody songs or learning the repertoire.
Right.
And then we started to tour. Then suddenly, I had my own sort of way of playing. And so I was a little bit more busier than I should have been, because my comfort zone is playing a lot straighter than I should. But I said, I'm not going to copy Keith, and I never did. So I was a lot tighter. So probably Roger was missing certain key moments, drum fills and stuff like that, and bits and pieces like that. And then suddenly look around, expecting to see Keith, and it was me. Right. I think that's what got to him. And listening to other people saying, well, he's not like Keith. Of course, I'm not going to be like Keith.
Nobody would be, right?
No.
So nobody would be like you.
I did what I did, I said to Pete in the first place, I said, look, obviously I'll be playing certain stuff because I like what Keith played in certain things. So I said, I'm going to try and do my best to do them in those certain places where I think anyone in the right mind would want to do them. And that's it. Right. So I think we kind of just sort of separated a little bit. So,
and what was that like for you when that happened? Were you pissed off? Were you bummed out about? I mean, where did you go through?
I was in a sense. I came to. There's another phase of my life, and I thought, well, I didn't get chucked out of the band. It was just like we kind of broke up as soon. A couple of years later, and then we reformed again, and then we kept reforming, and then going on tour again and reform. So it's a bit like that. Yeah. So my whole time with the Who spanned 10 years, which is quite a long time.
Yeah.
And then obviously we split up. Then I was forming a band with Paul Rogers.
Right, the Law.
That's when the Law started.
Yeah.
So I was happy to be in the Law, and let the Who do what they want to do.
Right. Yeah. If I could just ask before we go, I'd love to talk a little bit about the Law too, if you have the time. But Eminence Front, one of my favorite Who songs of all time. Thank you for your music on that. You have this, and I don't know if you're counting when you're playing drums, but you have this hi-hat little splash or bark. Yeah. It sounds to me like it's on the ands. But can you say a little bit, how did you create that part, please?
I just played me. I don't know.
Okay.
That's all I ever do is just play me.
I love it.
See, you've got a drum kit. What happens is the drum kit's always going to be amazing if it's tuned properly. But what makes it come alive is the player. It's the performance. So I don't know. Whatever I do, I try to analyse what I do, and I can't really. I just play me. I've never had a lesson. That's why. Otherwise, funny enough, when I used to do session work, I used to write out my own sort of fashion, in my own fashion of reading music, writing music.
Yeah, well, you're clearly a natural, Kenney, and it's worked out, I think, really great. So
it's all in the book. It's all in the book. Look, it's all in the book.
It went to #1. That must have been very gratifying.
It was, yeah. I couldn't believe it. I said, who's going to buy my book? No one wants to know about boring old Kenny Jones. I got it wrong.